The college football experience, USC Trojans 2022 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. USC Trojans 2022 season preview episode. My name is Kobe Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
We are talking Trojan football. And this guy, he might be. He's probably wondering right now if you haven't heard him coughing, if you haven't been watching on YouTube, he had a few coughs there, but he's probably.
I don't know if it's an indication of what's going to happen with USC's season here, but I got beer coming out of my nose to start this episode.
Patty C, we're 30 seconds into the show, and he's like,
What the fuck did I do wrong?
look, I mean, that's just the break sometimes, you know.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
That could be a great omen. You get beer coming out your nose, you know, good things are happening usually.
Well, a lot of USC fans might have had beer coming out their nose when Lincoln Riley announced he was not going to LSU and he's staying at Oklahoma, and then he dips out for Southern Cal. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi, well. Very appropriate.
Patty C, holy Toledo, what is happening with Southern Cal? I think you can go ahead and say this team probably took the most headlines in the offseason because they hired Lincoln Riley. They gave him they bought his house at a crazy rate in Norman, Oklahoma, which is crazy because his mansion in Norman, Oklahoma is probably only worth like $200K. And then they bought him a house in the Palisades here, right on the fringe of Malibu.
Like 17 mil,
17 bedrooms. I don't know. The thing's got a moat. All right.
Right. Come on.
Just crazy.
The Lincoln Riley Castle.
He's living next to Burt Reynolds' estate.
There you go. rest in paradise.
Yes,
Burt.
rest in paradise to the legend. But holy hell! And then they announced that they are joining the Big Ten because they want to rekindle that rivalry with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Patty C,
long-standing.
What
rivals.
the hell is happening here? I mean, let's start first with Lincoln. What do you make of Lincoln Riley? You look at 55-10 in 5 years at Oklahoma. Not bad.
I would say that's an understatement.
Is this the home run hire that's going to bring Trojan football back? See, I was on board thinking, yeah, but then they joined the Big Ten, and I thought, well, I mean, how many memes, great internet memes about them playing at Iowa in November? And there's been a lot of fun.
I mean, between, I guess them getting Lincoln Riley, which was exciting at the time. Even as a fan, even as a not really a fan of USC, I'll be honest, USC is a very cool team. They're one of the coolest teams in terms of what they can do. Yeah. Their upside.
OJ Simpson,
great style. Yeah, OJ Simpson.
He's
super
really cool.
Yeah, I mean, but no, I just mean in terms of like.
I like Naked Gun.
They got great kids.
I like all three Naked Guns. Sure. They're on often at my house.
What's his character in that?
Norberg. Shout out to Norberg. Look, give Norberg a Heisman Trophy already.
Give that man if OJ can't have it, give it to Norberg.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Can
we
get a
about?
statue of OJ Simpson on one side and Todd Maranovich doing a line of blow on the other side? That would be fantastic. Look,
USC is fun, isn't it?
These are dreams. No, I do dig them. I mean, look, I dig the hire. I shouldn't say I dig them. I'm not a USC football fan, but I understand they've had the most draft picks in NFL history. They are. You can argue them as the greatest college football team ever.
The quintessential sexy football team, along with what your Miamis, your Texases, your
East Carolina,
ECUs.
Yeah.
I mean, they have all the glitz and glamour, but it is annoying a little bit that they were able to take Oklahoma's coach. As a fan, just because it's like, okay, you're just robbing another great program, but that just shows you the level that USC is, or maybe the landscape of Oklahoma going to the SEC and Lincoln Riley not wanting that smoke.
Well, now that you could argue the Big Ten's going to be harder than the SEC, I don't know. True. I mean,
I saw that Lincoln Riley basically was in 4 conferences in like the matter of a few weeks or a year.
Big 12.
He was in the Big 12. Then they switched. They're going to go to the SEC. He's like, fuck this. I'm going to the Pac-12. They're like, nope, you're in the Big 10.
I think that move to the Big 10, short-term relief. I don't know long-term if that was the smartest thing.
The move to the Pac, to the Big 10 for USC. In what way would it have been a relief? Financially.
Financially, it's gonna fill the void here. I think for like the next 5-10 years and get them on par with the other schools. But long-term,
yeah, you're not gonna have many more conference championships. You got Ohio State.
I think it's a much harder, like the fact that they're them and UCLA, the lone West Coast teams. Even though I do think the Pac-12 was underrated as a football conference nationally, but I still think when you talk about USC going to Iowa, going to Minnesota,
they're not going to get any home cooking.
Yeah. So, and I also just wonder. I think if the Pac-10 or whatever, who knows what's going to become of that? But if San Diego State is invited to the Pac-10 or if it's the Big 12 or whatever, and they're a Power 5, long term,
oh yeah, they could.
I think that could be dangerous because I just think there's a selling point of saying, hey, we're going to play along the Pacific. Your family will be able to come to all these games. And guess what? We're going to be in decent weather. We're not going to be in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah. You know what really hurts San Diego State?
What's that?
The pro teams leaving. I mean, because really, I guess San Diego doesn't have as much,
I would argue it helps them because from a fan input.
Maybe. But I think there is something to be said for the cachet of like, having for Stanford and Cal, you got all those pro teams up there. It's like, although they don't really have their fan bases, that they don't have that area. They
only have one pro team there now.
Who's that?
I mean, football.
The Bay Area. Yeah, that's true.
Raiders are in Vegas.
They lost all that. All I'm saying though is San Diego kind of
Sacramento Surge left right. The World League.
San Diego seems like a town that can't keep its sports going. It's not. It doesn't seem like a sports town anymore.
I'd say the Padres are making a statement that it's a sports town.
Okay, one team though. So what I'm saying though is San Diego has a little bit of a ways to go before they can convince Southern California that they're the hot spot to go to for sports. I
just think if they're invited and they have a invite and they get in and they can use that against a potential UCLA or USC recruit of saying, hey,
I think UCLA is the one that's going to get hit by that. They'll be both
true.
Competing.
USC's brand is USC's brand, but anyway, it'll be interesting to watch. I actually think it sucks for college football. I mean, I'll be honest. I thought that was terrible news. I want to see USC and Stanford and USC go to Corvallis and Pullman and in the desert against Arizona State.
Yeah, USC.
I have zero interest, like absolutely zero, as far as a college football game.
Yeah,
I think if I had to rate the college football games, all of them, at the bottom would be USC Maryland, USC Purdue, USC Minnesota, USC Illinois,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, USC Ohio State would chart for me, but it's not going to even chart in my top 25.
I mean, it's a championship level game a lot of the time. So of course, anytime you get some of the top 10 programs in the sport playing
isn't that
against
the point of the playoff or the bowl game?
it should be.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. But I mean, when those games happen, you're going to watch no matter what. But you're right. Something that is a little more attractive would be like a Cal versus UCLA game or a USC versus Arizona.
I'd much rather watch that.
Some local or like at least regional element to it. These games of just random mismatches across the country.
West Virginia is a perfect example when they joined the Big 12. None of those games are appealing.
Yeah.
All right. West Virginia used to be appealing when they're playing Virginia Tech and Pitt and
Maryland and
Marshall and East Carolina and stuff in Virginia. And it just was a lot more interesting.
Those games might not have had the national
Penn
appeal,
State,
but they at least had the regional element going for them. Whereas
it makes me want to watch.
Yeah.
That USC Purdue, I'm sorry. That will not be on in my house.
National appeal or regional appeal. It's just a terrible game.
All right, well, let's get to it because USC definitely made some headlines. So Clay Helton's gone. Patty C's boy. Patty C, by the way, locked up the Trojans on the over last year. I gotta call him out for that.
What was that number? Like 8.5?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about what did happen. The wheels did fall off, but it happened pretty early.
Here you go. I'll give you this. I'm joking.
Well, I mean, let's talk about what they had done though the previous years.
But they weren't good.
5-1 the year before.
I still don't pass the eye test when you watch them.
They didn't pass the eye test, but
they were getting wins.
8-5, 5-1, and then they had a 5-7 year before that. But then 2-10-3. Clay Helton didn't have a terrible run there.
It's impossible to have a terrible run at USC.
Okay, well, in
what
that
is
sense,
the worst run ever at USC?
Well, if the basement of USC should be like an 8-win season, and that's what they were projected at last year, I don't feel bad for taking the over on 8.5. You know, I didn't see 4 and 8.
Crazy look in your eye.
I didn't see 4 and 8, but yeah, that was bad. I was at that Stanford game. That was Clay Helton's last game. It was one of the weakest crowds.
Stanford has kind of had their number lately.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, he did have a 5-7 season and a 4-8 season, dude.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
I honestly, I'm not. I understand how ridiculous some of these comments can be at times. I actually believe you could put me at head coach at USC, and I can do better than 4-8.
I mean, let's talk about the games. Okay, Oregon State, that was a bad loss, although I believe that was closer than the final score. Stanford was just plain bad. Kind of got handled by Utah and Notre Dame. Got handled at Arizona State. Got whooped by UCLA. They sucked. They legitimately sucked. Damn, what the hell did happen? Was it just like there was just no mojo?
Almost lost to Arizona.
Yeah,
Arizona's a tough game for them. I feel like every year Arizona gives them a more than they bargained for.
Kind of like a similar brand, you know. So, in terms of just like Western, you know, dry heat football, throw the ball around. I don't know if UCLA. They typically when you play a team that's of the same brand and you're far more talented, you just win. There's no like contrasts and styles that could create a problem for you, but I think UCLA's or USC's talent may have just been down, and Arizona played up to it. I don't know why, but they are a little closer than they should be.
Well, the new offensive coordinator is not Jim Henson; it's Josh Henson, the puppet master. Patty C. He's the new OC, 65th in scoring. He inherits an offense that was 65th in, if you want to call it inheriting, 65th in scoring offense, 80th in rush offense, 17th in pass offense, 23rd in total offense. I don't know if inheriting is the correct term because besides Gary Bryant Jr. at wideout and a couple offensive linemen, they don't bring back anybody. Yeah. So, Caleb Williams is the new quarterback. He comes in from Oklahoma. This team is an NFL team. Like the way they went out and signed teams or players.
Free agency at its finest.
Travis Dye comes in. You know, at running back, the wide receivers, like I said, Gary Bryant Jr. They also have a slew of other wideouts we'll get to. Their tight end Jude Wolf is back, but he's not really because he was just announced the other day he is injured for at least the first half of the season. And like I said, 3 of 5 back on the O line, led by Cortland Ford at the left tackle spot. Is the offense going to be firing away right away?
I mean, do we have to wait for the transfer portal to talk about some of the players they got? I mean, because if we're trying to talk about this offense legitimately, we got to mention.
Let me just power through this and get to the transfer portal then. Defensive coordinator is Alex Grinch. He comes over from Oklahoma. He was previously at Washington State with Mike Leach. Prior to that, 103rd in scoring defense, 88th in rush defense, 89th in pass defense, 89th in total defense. 3 starters back, only 3 starters back. 2 or 3 on the D line though, led by all conference Tuli Tulapululutu, and 1 linebacker back in Raylan Goforth. I like that name.
And prosper.
They're breaking in a brand new kicker and punter. They're breaking in an entirely brand new secondary. Patty C. There's a lot of pieces that here's what's interesting. They had even though Clay Helton was there, they had the OC was what's his name from Texas Tech, the quarterback. I'm drawing a blank right now.
The OC.
Yeah, he's now at West Virginia. Graham Harrell.
Yeah,
who was a Mike Leach guy. They stay Leach with Lincoln Riley. They stay Leach with Alex Grinch. His imprint's all over USC. You wonder if that works because they don't commit to the run much, and I think you should when you're USC. This is running back you could argue.
Well, hold on. You're saying who didn't commit to the run?
USC
last year, yeah.
And Lincoln Riley's still not like Oklahoma hasn't been a run heavy team.
Apparently, though, they run a little more than most.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's having 5-star running backs at your disposal. Tough not to run them a little bit, but he has that now at USC. I don't know if Dye's a 5-star, but he's certainly very talented. 1,200 rushing yards. I figure that Lincoln Riley will run the ball a little bit.
1,200 rushing yards, but he doesn't have Oregon's O line. Be interesting to watch. Look, we're going to get to the transfer portal. We're going to get to recruiting rankings, the future of USC football, talk about what Las Vegas expects from the Trojans, and what we expect. We're going to go game by game on the schedule. So Patty C, we're going to get to everything USC, but first I got to get us paid. I want to tell you that the college football experience, USC Trojans 2022 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by OddsTrader. OddsTrader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to sportsbook to assure that you get the best deal possible. The app provides player statistics, key game stats, injury reports, projected game day weather for bettors to make the most informed bets possible. It also has a bet tracker to keep track of all your games you're betting on through sport. I mean, look, I'll bet on like the MLB playoffs while a college football game's on, while an NFL game's on, and then I'll potentially bet on all different crazy shit. All right.
Yeah, Colby's got a problem.
There's a game. If there's a badminton game going on in fucking, I don't know, Botswana, I might.
Colby's got action on it.
Yes. But check out oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. All right. We are back talking USC Trojan football. Patty C, the transfer portal is such a big thing. I'm gonna break up. This is gonna break up the ads.
There you go.
Yeah.
Smart.
Incoming. Need a shot of whiskey for this.
And the funny part is, this is going to be the shorter of the segments, I believe.
Defensive lineman Solomon Byrd coming in from the Wyoming Cowboys. So let's talk about fixing this defense. You get Solomon Byrd. Sounds like a jazz musician. All right.
Sexy.
Then they get Tyrone Talani from Kansas State on the defensive line. Then they get Sinjan Astani from San Jose State. Defensive lineman Earl Barquette from TCU. That's the defensive line. Linebackers, Romello Height comes in from Auburn. Shane Lee comes in from Alabama. Carson Tabarucci is in from Utah, and then the 4-star Eric Gentry from Arizona State.
It's pretty good teams to be taking players from.
I mean, this is absurd, man. How many Pac-12 players have no fucking heart, dude? They all come in from the Pac-12 to USC. Come on, man. I mean, a lot of these, okay, Alabama, Auburn, I don't care, but like they got guys from Oregon, Colorado, Arizona State, Utah. Where the fuck is your backbone?
Top of the
Washington,
pecking order, top of the food chain.
Stanford. It's terrible.
It is.
In the secondary, Jacoby Covington comes in from Washington, where they produce a lot of pros, secondary wise. Safety Bryson Shaw comes in from Ohio State. Cornerback Latrell McClutchin, who was a big time recruit for Oklahoma, he transfers over. Mekhi Blackman, who was one of Colorado's best defensive backs last year, transfers over. Those are that's the defense. All right. Offensive line, Bobby Haskins comes in from Virginia. That was the lone one, and that's interesting because the O-line was not very good last year.
Yeah, man, that's 3 Virginia guys that they've lost to
on the offensive line.
Yeah, just starters that are gone. Yikes.
And then the skill positions, just a ton. Wide receiver Jordan Addison, who won the Biletnikoff Award from Pitt.
You know who he kind of reminds me of?
Who's that?
From a skill standpoint, Antonio Brown. He's legit. He's freaking awesome.
Running back Travis Dye from the Oregon Ducks. Running back Austin Jones from Stanford, who shelled out pretty good in a couple games last year. Wide receiver, 5-star wide receiver Mario Williams from Oklahoma. 5-star quarterback Caleb Williams from Oklahoma. 4-star wide receiver Jerry Rice's son, Brenden Rice from Colorado. Wide receiver Terrell Bynum from the Washington Huskies. And that is your team. I mean, that is unbelievable what they brought in.
Number 1 nationally in the transfer portal.
I can't root for a team that just lands that many transfers, though. There's something that screams pro football, and I hate it.
That screams pro football, and there's something that screams LA. Like LA, when did this happen? I guess it's always been like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in the 60s, going from Milwaukee to LA. People just want to be here, but it doesn't make them likable.
Yeah, I don't know, but they lost linebacker Elijah Winston to the Nevada Wolfpack. They lost.
Wait, are we going to break this up with an ad read here, or
after this?
Okay.
After this, offensive lineman Ty Buchanan to Texas Tech. Running back Brandon Campbell to the Houston Cougars. Defensive lineman Manoa Tufano in the portal. Linebacker Kalawana Makula went to Hawaii. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I know I'm not. Ismail Sofser is Southwest Mississippi Community College. Brew McCoy, who was a 5-star, went to Tennessee.
That one hurts.
Michael Trigg, who was a 4-star tight end, who's apparently a stud. He went to Ole Miss. That one hurts too. Jackson Dart, 4-star quarterback, went to Ole Miss.
That one hurts.
Offensive tackle Casey Collier went to Oklahoma State. Wide receiver Joseph Manjack went to Houston. Offensive lineman Damian Lopez hit the portal. Running back Keenan Kristen went to San Diego State. Offensive lineman Liam Douglas went to UCLA. Disgusting. That is fucking filthy. Kicker Parker Lewis. Great name. He can't lose apparently if he's at Ohio State because he transferred to Ohio State. Quarterback Keaton Slovis went to Pitt. 4-star linebacker Raymond Scott went to Fresno State. Safety Chase Williams went to San Jose State. Wide receiver Chase Locks in the portal. Defensive end Hunter Eccles went to Arizona. Linebacker Hulano Filanico went to the Idaho Vandals. Defensive lineman Jake Lichtenstein went to the Miami Hurricane. Linebacker Danny Lockhart went to Ole Miss. Wide receiver Zach Wilson. I wonder if he fucks, moms. He's in the portal. Linebacker Spencer Gilbert is in the portal, and that's it. Holy shit!
Is that it? Is that all?
Holy shit, dude!
Hey, well, you got me thinking. Between USC and Oklahoma, how many Lincoln Riley, associated players, quarterbacks are going to be starting in college football this year?
That's a good point.
You got Spencer Rattler, Tanner Mordecai, Caleb Williams obviously traveled with him.
The kid at TCU is going to start.
Who's
not Duggan, the other guy.
Randall Rudolph or no? What's his?
I don't remember his name, but he is a Oklahoma transfer.
Okay, then you got obviously Slovis was at USC.
JT Daniels at West Virginia.
JT Daniels at West Virginia.
Jackson Dart at Ole Miss. Jeez.
I mean, talk about being around a bunch of great quarterbacks.
Did you say Spencer Rattler too?
Yeah. So, but they got their guy Caleb Williams. What do you think? I mean, probably the best transfer portal incoming class ever. So, on that level, you have to call it a win. Except
I think you got to call it a win.
Was reading that they only have like 60 healthy scholarship players on the roster coming out of spring football. I believe they're allowed to have 85. So 35 guys going out in the portal. That kind of feels like a loss.
Flash NFL, right?
Was it?
Oh no. I think you're right, but I didn't name 35. I feel like
I don't know.
Maybe there's some that just quit. I don't know. But I want to tell you folks out there that the college football experience is brought to you by Run Your Pool. Yes, Run Your Pool is the home of competition, bringing sports fans and their social circles together to compete, connect, and make every game matter more. And we've teamed up with Run Your Pool to host our official SGPN NFL Survivor contest, free to enter, and some amazing prizes will be announced soon. Hop in now to reserve your spot. Come on. What are you doing? It's NFL Survivor. Those are always fun. Get in over at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/survivor. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper's the fastest growing fantasy platform today with millions of players. You probably already have a fantasy league on there. I know I do. They just passed 4 million users, and now they got a brand new over/under game, which is a lot of fun. First in any sport, you can choose 2 or more players you like, pick the stat projection on the over/under, and if you pick correctly, you will win anywhere from 2 times to over 20 times the money you put in. And with NFL season right around the corner, Sleeper's the first sports contest game built into the fantasy experience. So right now on your mobile phone, join our listener group at sleeper.com/SGP. Once again, that is sleeper.com/SGP, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. We're also brought to you by IP Vanish. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well be giving away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why here at SGPN Studios in Eagle Rock, California, we use IP Vanish VPN, which makes it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IP Vanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. So go to ipvanish.com/SGP and use that promo code SGP and claim 70% off your savings. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. Oh man, so all those players coming in, it's like some would argue it's like when Dream Team was formed, right? NC Nick, who's not with us on this episode, he was pretty adamant that and I think he's got a decent point. A lot of times when you see these super teams formed, they don't necessarily work out. I know what someone in our chat on the Wednesday night show said it was last year's LA Rams would be 1, maybe.
I feel like they had a great coach to start with, and they were just adding a few more pieces.
Yeah, like they still had to go out and get Cooper Kupp and all these other guys.
I mean, and it was a several year. Like Aaron Donald's been there for how long?
Yeah, long enough.
Yeah,
Fisher, I think, wasn't he there in the Fisher era?
Yeah.
Either way, I think he's got a point. I think it's going to be must-watch TV to see if they can fulfill themselves with this talent. I mean, look, Williams looked great last year. Caleb Williams. I almost said Mario Williams. But at the same time, he still had some moments that made him look like a freshman.
Yeah.
Will he be able to quickly adapt to that? Even though these receivers are loaded, what do you make of this team?
I do think that, all the reports were, hey, they're having great practices. Who knows what that means? That could be just the LA media getting hyped up on them. But there is no lack of talent, obviously. How well it's gonna?
I think there might be a little bit lack of talent on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's true. That hasn't been given much press. You know, obviously at the skill positions they're loaded, but I do think that football is more than just having individual pieces. I think there is an element of chemistry that has to happen. A new coach, all new players. You're asking a lot to think this team is.
And I'm a Lincoln Riley guy. He was at ECU. I love Lincoln Riley, but it's going to be interesting. Talk to me about recruiting rankings in general, Patty C.
Well, a little confusing information from 24/7 Sports here. National recruiting ranking has fluctuated obviously massively over the last 5 cycles. 4, 20, 68, 8, and then last year I can't figure out if they were number 6 or number 70. So a little bit confusing. Getting depending on the specific page on the website. There.
Well, now they're probably adjusting since they joined the Big Ten.
Right.
If I had to guess, and then the Pac-12, they were trying to give them probably bad bad stars, and then since they joined the Big Ten,
they're now
like, hey,
number one class.
We have a contract with them.
All that to say, their composite nationally which is I guess a little more reliable over the last 4 cycles. 4, 4, 10, and 10. Slight slippage from truly nationally elite level talent, but I think they've replenished that within the conference 1, 1, 1, and 2. Last 2 transfer classes, number 5 and number 1. So they're able to recruit it. They're able to get it through the transfer portal. There's plenty of talent. Is this like a Texas situation, though, where for whatever reason, you just can't put it all together?
Well, I can tell you this. They put a gigantic target on their back, them and UCLA, when they made the move. And if you look last year in the Big 12, Texas and Oklahoma did not represent the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
That was the first year with them putting a target on their back, with them leaving, and that basically addressing to other schools that, hey, you're going to be poor as shit once we leave.
Yeah.
That money that you're used to ain't happening anymore.
Right.
And by them doing that, I think it's I think it's dangerous. It's dangerous
I
for
do
your
think
what?
that, when it comes down to like maybe a conference wants to elevate its best team to
well, they clearly do. All the conferences.
Yeah.
They've been doing it. USC doesn't play back-to-back road games. Oregon doesn't, but the rest of the Pac-12 does.
Yeah. And that impacts even the games,
Oklahoma's played 1 back-to-back away game in 10 years.
Ridiculous.
Texas, I think, is 3. Meanwhile, Kansas does like 3 every fucking year.
Very clearly from an outside of the game standpoint, are benefiting and being given the best situations, the blue bloods of each of the respective conferences. But even in the game situation, I think maybe from a refereeing standpoint, or maybe just the other team's like level of hatred toward them, there isn't the level of hatred when you're in the same conference and you're part of the same crew. But now that they've put the target, they're saying, "Fuck you, we're leaving." Then I do think maybe you're right. It's a little harder to get those wins. A little more edge from these other teams.
A little more edge, a little more hate from the fan bases. I think it just helps on all levels. But Patty C, the win. So if you're watching on YouTube, by the way, subscribe to the College Football Experience and the College Basketball Experience. Love what Andy Enfield's doing with the Trojan basketball program. We talk college basketball year round on the College Basketball Experience. We talk college football year round over here. Subscribe at youtube.com/the College Experience. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say, I even feel like, it's just something like even maybe for like the referees, the administration of the league, there's just something in the air that says, okay, before if, Washington State doesn't get it. We were at the Washington State USC game a couple years back. Bullshit roughing the passer changes the game in USC's favor.
Yeah.
Now the Pac-12 brass top to bottom, the likes of Kliavkov, maybe in those meetings, there's just a different vibe that it's like, hey, don't give them that break, and that comes out on the field. Conspiracy
theorist here. Maybe you're right. Let's hop into the 9.5. If you're watching on YouTube, you see this sweet graphic. Shout out to the SGPN graphics team. 9.5 is the win total, Patty C. The juice is actually laying. It's -125 to the over, -110 to the under. So Vegas basically saying they think they're going to be 10-2. They're favorites to win the Pac-12, believe it or not, which
After
I find
season.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. What the last few games on their schedule last year, a 29-point loss to UCLA, a loss to BYU at home, both of those at home, and then going up and losing to a pretty average Cal team by 10 points. Arizona State lost by 15 to 4 straight losses to end the season, 6 losses in 7 games to end the season with the only win against Arizona. What do they think happened in the offseason?
And look, I get it. They don't play back-to-back away. We alluded to that, them in Oregon. So I understand that the schedule's not as daunting for them. They also avoid playing Oregon.
Or Washington.
Yeah. Which is always good. Let's hop into the schedule, though. Week 1. Saturday, September 3rd, the Rice Owls. Who are going to get their ass whooped at the Coliseum?
Yes, they will.
So 1-0. Lincoln, what did he drop? 55?
Thereabouts.
And everyone's just
touchdown on the first play of the game. Everyone's hyped. Yeah.
Then comes in kind of their kryptonite over the past 10, 12 years. Yeah. Ever since Kavika Pritchard.
Yeah.
And that 40-point dogs with Jim Harbaugh against Pete Carroll.
Uh-huh.
Saturday, September 10th, they head to the Farm in Palo Alto.
Nice 7:30 p.m.
Who are you taking here? I'm taking USC, but I tread lightly because Stanford's really fucked with them over the past 12 years.
Yeah, Stanford has a humongous continuity advantage over USC. I got to go Trojans, I guess.
Yeah. And then this one is a sneaky one too. Fresno State comes to the Coliseum, and you could argue the better quarterback will be at Fresno State. Man, Heisman hopeful Jake Haener and the Bulldogs. Can Jeff Tedford do it?
I almost feel like they're going to be 2-1 at this point. I'll say 3-0 just to keep the USC fans happy here.
I'll say 3-0 too, but I could totally see Fresno beating them. They head to Corvallis Saturday, September 24th. This is one of my upset specials of the year. Patty C. Oregon State beats them in Corvallis.
I'll say by this point they have lost the game, so 3-1.
3-1 in September. Then they host the Arizona State Sun Devils. Arizona State's kind of gave them fits lately too. I'm taking USC though.
Yeah.
4-1. Then Cameron Ward. Get to know that name because I think we might be underselling who that is. Comes to town with the Washington State Cougars. Watch out. I'm telling you, if this defense is not fixed.
Incarnate Word's quarterback?
Yeah. Okay. If this defense is not fixed from last season, where there were 100 and something in pass defense.
Yeah. He will light them up.
Oh, I can assure you that.
This guy, what's his deal? Is he a dual threat or has he got a cannon or?
I mean, he's mobile, but they don't use him as a runner.
Yeah. Mainly just.
But man, he can fire the laser all over the field.
Okay.
Watch out. I mean, I'll give it to USC.
Yeah.
So what's that? 5-1.
They play. They did work Washington State last year, so that should be a safe bet. 5-1. Trip to Utah.
Rice Eccles, they ain't winning this.
Deck. Is this our game of the year for them?
This is our game of the year. If you're a USC fan, this is our official Sling game of the year here. It's college football season, which means you need the unbeatable coverage of Sling TV starting at $35 a month. Sling has all the big games on the biggest channels like ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, SEC Network, ACC Network, Fox, and the Big Ten Network, all for the best price. You can stream on any device, record up to 50 hours with DVR space. You can pause or change your service at any time. Check out sling.com for special offers. Sling, the live TV you love for a price you'll love. Try us today. Yeah, this is the most important game I think on the schedule. If they're going to really do this, but let me tell you, Utah fucks them up lately, especially in Rice Eccles.
Yeah,
they're not winning this.
That's a brand that may just be too physical for USC.
They're not winning this
and too tough. Yeah, I don't think so. Not a chance.
So I got them 5-2.
Yeah,
they get a bye week and then they head to the desert. Patty C. Take on Arizona, who seems to play them tough. Then they gave themselves a bye week for Arizona. Now they're like, damn, this team's got tough.
Show some respect here.
6-2.
Yeah.
Home to Cal. This is a sneaky game.
A little dangerous.
Sneaky.
Getting
game.
them at home is huge.
Yeah, I'll go to 7-2.
Yeah.
Colorado Buffaloes on a Friday night. 8-2.
We might be at that game.
We might be.
8-2. So very much in striking distance of a Pac-12 championship berth, with two huge games left on the docket.
At UCLA, if you listen to our UCLA preview, I did take UCLA to win that one, so I got them 8-3.
I'm going to say this: I guarantee you, knock on wood, but I pretty much guarantee you they'll lose one of these last two games, maybe both. But I'll say they're 1-1 in these last. I'll say the same. They lose at UCLA and they upset Notre Dame.
Sure, I'm on board.
Yeah.
So 9-3. The under plays.
Yeah.
And actually, like I said, it's a smarter bet here. Take the under. I'm on the under in USC. That's a favorable schedule, and I still think
not a bad first year either. 9-3, despite all the hype. You got to be kind of pleased with that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm on the under. Patty C's on the under, folks. Subscribe to the college football experience. Also subscribe to the college basketball experience. Like I said, Andy Enfield, USC, we're talking them all the time. Yeah, if you can, get over to iTunes, give us a 5-star review, say some nice things about us. We'd appreciate that. And if you do that, take a screenshot. Find us on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. We're going to enter you in a David Stern like raffle. All right. Where you're basically guaranteed to win. All right. An SGPN gift card. All right. So do that.
Boom.
I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. Give me a follow as well. Patty C is on Twitter, Patty C831. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC_NICK. Give him a follow. And check out all of our podcasts. Like I said, college basketball experience, college baseball experience. USC historically has been a great college baseball team. Lately it's been some issues, but check out the college baseball experience with me and Noah Beanick. Sports gambling podcast. Hello. We're on that all the time. I mean, that show, we're going through all 32 NFL teams. If you're a Charger fan, if you're a Raider fan, If you're a Rams fan, they're doing all 32 NFL teams. All right. We just had Pat McAfee on the show, Mike Leach on the show.
They're going hard. They're going hard.
All these guys. We always have great guests over there. So subscribe over there and check out the NFL Gambling Podcast, the MLB Gambling Podcast. Come on, Dodger Nation. Even if you're an Angel fan, check that out. They do daily shows. They're fantastic. The MLB Gambling Podcast. Also, check out what else, Patty C? What can I say? MLS Gambling Podcast. We're in Los Angeles. They like that. MMA Gambling Podcast.
Yeah, doesn't that LAFC play right down near USC?
Yes, right there.
They're in the neighborhood. Yeah. Dial into the SGPN and hear about your squads.
Yeah, subscribe to that. Subscribe to the Soccer Gambling Podcast. Also, World Cup right around the corner. NHL Gambling Podcast. I was down there partying when the Kings won the national championship, when they won the NHL championship. The Stanley Cup. I was there. Check it out. NHL Gambling Podcast. I can go on and on and on. NBA Gambling Podcast. Terrell Furman Jr. with the Lakers, the Clippers. Come on, fans. Get in there. Check out all that stuff. Hop in the Discord channel. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, if you're sweating out bets, even if you're not even sweating out bets, but if you're sweating out bets, it's even better. But even if you're just a sports fan that's bored, maybe, I don't know, maybe you broke up with your girlfriend Friday night. You don't feel like going out. You're moaning. You're just watching. I don't know what gave me the LA Galaxy, some shit like that. LAFC,
Seattle Sounders.
Yeah,
get in the Discord app.
I'm telling you, whatever you're betting on, it could be a boxing match, it could be a sumo wrestling matchup going on in Japan, and I'm sure our Discord channel will have it covered. It's just think of a house party or a shopping mall house party style of
idiots.
Yeah. Of fun people talking sports at all times. So hop in sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. All right, folks, this is the college football experience, USC Trojan style. Good luck in the Big Ten.
What the fuck did I do wrong, Tom? Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
The Redskins want a new stadium. The owner, Jack Kent, and he wants an indoor, I heard an indoor stadium. The Redskins cannot play indoors.
Team speed, for Christ's sake.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terror pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're gonna pay for it tonight.
I think tide turning, as I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
Nice beaver.
They're begging us. Please have a party. Feed us drinks. Get us laid. Ah!